Hey guys, welcome back to the second episode of the podcast series that we recently started. So let's talk DevOps. For today's podcast, we have Suresh. Suresh, I can call you Suresh, right? Suresh is fine.
I can.
All right. So we have Suresh. I'll let Suresh talk in a bit, but I thought we could do it a little different from this episode, wherein I come up with themes for each of the episode, and then we stick to a theme, and then we talk or elaborate on the theme. And all of these themes are definitely going to be around DevOps. For today, theme is going to be, are DevOps jobs really minting high stake money? So do you get paid really well if you are a DevOps engineer, DevOps lead, DevOps architect? How is the earnings with respect to DevOps looking like? Is going to be the theme for today's session. We are going to deep dive to Suresh experience, my experience, and how things are looking here in Germany is all that we are going to look into. So before jumping in, I would like our audience, Suresh, to know who you are, what your expertise with respect to DevOps, DevSecOps is, how many years of experience you have. So I open the floors. It's your stage now. Go ahead, Suresh.
Yeah, hi Karthik. Thank you for actually inviting me to your podcast, and thank you for giving this opportunity to talk about my experience with respect to DevOps domain and cloud here back in India. So, hi all, myself Suresh. Uh, as of now, I'm having 2.8 years of experience in DevOps domain. I passed out in 2022 with a bachelor's in computer science, and then I started working as an infrastructure engineer in a mid-level product-based company. I started my career as an infrastructure engineer, mostly focused on infrastructure management for the DevOps teams and other thing and other application teams on in the organization. So from there, I went to a startup organization. That is my very first switch after six
Hmm.
months because I felt working back on some lemon things is not my piece of cake. So I
Hmm.
went and started with cloud. So it actually took me 3 months of time. I want to be a little frank because after 6 months of experience understanding things, I figured out that there is a lot difference for a beginner to start off into DevOps and what actually it takes. And in order to understand the difference and in order to match up the space to start working in an organization for a project, I took around 3 months of time. And wherein through I went to talk with a lot of people who are into cloud and DevOps, understanding the basic differences, what actually a cloud engineer is into, what a DevOps engineer is into. And these kind of things I started learning. I instead of, yeah,
Just one thing.
please.
So in the 3 months, Suresh, did you upskill? Like, did you join any course for cloud, or it was more about your self-learning in all the 3 months with different people? Did you also enroll yourself in any course or no?
Uh, in those 3 months, I never enrolled into any course, but
Perfect.
I took
Nice.
mentorship from a lot of people because
Nice.
I think around the same time the stop mate became a buzz thing. I think people started talking about, okay, now we can talk to people who are working in Microsoft, Amazon, and this kind of thing. For us, we are actually at the point of time, I'm a kind of a fresher, just completed college in been less than 6 to 7 months. So it is a buzzword for me. So I took that opportunity to talk with people like you. Back in time, I was not sure who was an architect, who was a staff engineer, principal engineer. I'm not sure about this kind of tags with that. So I went on to talk with people, whoever I actually got when I just searched DevOps engineer with this experience or cloud or DevOps background, whatever it is. So I have seen a maturity, like when I searched for a DevOps engineer back in 2022
Mm-hmm.
and now.
Mm-hmm.
I now actually sure, I was actually particularly sure about what I want and
Mm-hmm.
who I need to talk to, what kind of experience they people will be holding in order to answer my questions. I think this is what the maturity the people will actually get when they started with DevOps to becoming one into a specialization.
Very
So
nice.
in those 3 months was kind of a swing for me. I went across learning a lot of differences, the entire SDLC life cycle, and then by God's grace, I got into a startup, which is also a product-based company. So I was there as a cloud engineer with AWS cloud provider as focused,
Nice.
and I was delivering a product which uh, most AWS cloud partners are recommended in order to be aligned with the compliance, security, everything.
Perfect.
So after 1 year, I felt like there is a chance and there is a break I actually wanted. So I sat back and prepared again a lot of mentorship, a lot of
Nice.
learning, all this thing. And then I went and cracked a high paying job. If I need to be too frank, I secured around 170% hike from my previous whatever salary package I have,
That's brilliant.
and then moved to a enterprise organization. And
Perfect.
again, it is a product based organization, but it is into manufacturing. Like in manufacturing, very few people may be knowing about this. Like we have a bunch of software which
Yep.
will be maintained on both on-prem as well as cloud. The people have those own customizations, like where they want to have the application on on-prem or the application on-prem or the data on the on-prem. It actually depends on organization. So I joined this organization
Mm-hmm.
and I was been with this organization since the last 11 months from today.
Perfect.
since till today. Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Just
this
cutting you
was
there
my
before
experience.
I forget, Suresh. Two things I noticed with you. One is you started with a startup, which is actually a good thing in my opinion. Just feel free to correct me because most of the youngsters who join into big brand companies, and the work is already half done or three quarters already done. So they just have to tweak a line, tweak a pipeline code, add another stage to an existing pipeline is what they do. But your good thing is you started in a startup where I assume you are the one who is responsible for the entire thing. So you might have to do a lot more than what people in the enterprise organizations do. One. Second, every time you wanted to kind of upskill in your career, like go to the next level, you have always taken a step to a break, upskilled yourself. You are not worried about the risk involved in, hey, I need to continuously keep securing a job. I take a pause here, I upskill myself, talk to different people is also something I feel uh, not many people will do. Taking a break, upskilling yourself, and then hitting the target that you want. Just continuing on that. So you said you cracked 170% hike. Now, how's the job market, Suresh? How is DevOps as a job in India? I know about how it is 10 years back and how I started. I'll touch upon that. But how is it right now? Is it still a hot selling cake? Or do you need a little more to DevOps to hit high paying jobs?
Maybe definitely I need to say, if you wanna hit the high paying job in DevOps, you should be having a lot of extra effort. It takes an extra effort, and you have a lot of other things to cover. And if you want to be me more specific about the market, it is keep on fluctuating. And the one thing is the people who are consistent and the people who are ready to adopt
Mm,
and adopt to practices, adopt to new tools, adopt to new approaches, adopt to new workarounds, they are the one who is actually grabbing the chances every time. If you ask me why you are saying that this grabbing of things or keeping themselves updated is the only constant thing, I
right.
have seen people who actually started working with Jenkins and that too with a Groovy scripting, not even some declarative pipeline. They people, I have seen them working on Jenkins Groovy. The same people I saw them going to declarative
Mm,
and then went to this GitHub Actions Copilot, and then with their organization they actually shifted to their people now on this more specifically on like cloud focused DevOps. If I see them working on a Jenkins Groovy script to a very cloud focused in one whatever organizations they people are, I see them, the people have actually switched with a lot of hike and leap in their career. And when I
mm,
ask them,
mm,
just tell me, how did you do it? Like, what was the thing which actually made you differ from the other people? I know the same guy who is actually still working in the same organization and still trying to make these corrections to the pipeline, trying to make it more robust, dynamic, everything. He's excelled in it. I agree with that. But what about you who actually made a lot of money? He then said, if I want to grab an opportunity at a target organization, for example, Oracle, Amazon, something organization, the people expect me to be expertise on some particular tool or some stack, or
mhm,
else the people expect me to be open to adapt things.
mm.
I just can't be a Jenkins CI/CD guy. I just need to upgrade myself, or else I just can't be in the market.
Correct. Correct.
With respect to the project specification, what the architect actually designed, what actually the team need, which is actually making our job more bit easy, and we are able to deliver the things fast. This is what people care about. And
Mhm.
the at the end of the day, customer don't even know what is this cloud billing, what is this pipeline, what is this artifact promotion, what is this CI/CD stage. The people don't care anything. What is
All
the
they want
business
is a
value that you are
robust.
bringing to the table?
Mhm. Clear. Clear.
Yeah.
Nice. That really interesting points. Maybe this might be really interesting for people who are getting their journey started in DevOps or very new. I mean, I know you're still new. You have 3 years of experience, but the amount of research you have done in this field is far more. I would say it doesn't seem like I'm talking to a newbie because you have put in the hard work. You have done a lot of research, so you know what you are talking. That's a good thing about you, Suresh. If you can, from your experience, break it down. Let's not go far more. Let's talk like 4 phases: 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, 15 years. What's the average or a good salary? See, it's completely variable, I would say. I can find the engineers working for 1 LPA way up to 60 LPA in my experience. But what do you term would be a decent, good salary for a 4, 8, 12, 15? Let's not talk beyond that. Your career is not sure. The longevity is not sure. uh,
Yeah.
so let's stick to 15. Just break it down. No, what do you think is a decent salary?
Uh, I would like to answer your question by actually asking you one question with that.
All right.
What kind of a DevOps engineer we are talking about?
Very good
Just
question.
like in a school and a class, if you talk about children and their marks, they will say he's a good student, he's an average, and then he's a below average guy. With this kind of a ranging or marking, just tell me what kind of a DevOps engineer you're talking about,
All right.
and then I'll be able to give you that.
Fair enough. So, uh, let's say I'm a predominantly on-premise guy, on-premise DevOps engineer, and then slowly I transition with experience to a cloud DevOps engineer, and finally I land as a DevOps architect with 15 years of experience. So, Just two things. It's not site reliability. It's not other
Platform
domains.
engineering.
Simple. Yeah, platform engineering, nothing. I'm a DevOps guy. I started with the tools. I started on-prem, and then I slowly transitioned to doing few little things in cloud. Then I completely transitioned into a cloud DevOps architect. So this is my journey. If that's my journey, what would you tag as a decent salary at every milestone?
I will definitely be answering this question with respect to my experience, but
Yes, please.
what I
Yes,
felt
please.
is you are the correct guy to actually answer that question because you are now in the phase of your career.
I will
That's
definitely
sure. Yeah.
follow it up. Just curious to see what you have in
Yeah.
mind from the different interactions you have had.
Sure. So with respect to my interactions in last 2.8 years, ever
Right?
since I joined this IT as a fresher to now,
Yep.
with if you say 4 years of experience and kind of a on-premises to cloud guy, maybe he can expect or she can expect around 10 LPA. Thinking that they people are joining kind of a MNCs like this, Cognizant, Capgemini, Accenture, whatever it is.
Got
With
it.
respect to this experience, I can say they can earn up to 10 LPA, 10 to 12,
Got it.
and above that, up to 18, I can say they can grow up to this 25 to 30
Got
because
it.
I have seen people who actually moved into these organizations just being a common guy in every team, and the people grown up to this package up to
Got it.
8 experience. I can say 25 to 27, and then above that, it depends on what kind of an organization you are actually joining. For example, after 8 years, you will be definitely a senior lead or an architect or maybe a principal engineer or staff engineer or something. And the salary package that you are going to get depends on the organization that you are joining. If you are joining in a service-based organization,
Right.
will be hardly around 30 LPA or 32 max. They people just can't go beyond that.
Right.
And maybe in an MNC which is actually seeing a good profits in the last 2 quarters or the 3 quarters with their financial report being in and the whatever papers are being positive, maybe they people taking up very high responsibility of multiple projects, maybe they will get paid around 35. So that is the topmost in the service base.
Clear.
If you go to product base like
Mm.
Amazon, Oracle,
Yeah.
Azure, sorry,
Yeah.
Microsoft, these things, I have seen people who are earning with this 10 plus above experience are
Uh-huh.
earning around 50 to 1 crore, 50 lakhs to 1 crore.
Wow. Wow.
Only I can say uh, it is including their ESPOs and
Yeah,
also
I'll come
this,
to that.
how
I'll
should I
come to
say,
the breakup of this number. We'll have a separate segment following it up with this, but just purely going by the number, so that seems huge. And now, just to for our audience, see, already we are talking in terms of 30 LPA, 40 LPA, 50 LPA, which still gives you that DevOps is definitely one of the high-paying jobs out there. In short, what Suresh is trying to say is, as long as you are willing to adapt, learn quickly and not just stick to one set of tool, one set of processes, your career longevity and your chances of cracking a high paying job in DevOps is definitely high. Suresh, just for answering your previous question. So you said, I'm the best guy to actually answer this question, which is
yeah, you
true.
are.
In a way, I have close to 13 years of experience. The reason I wanted to put this to you is my I'm 13 years experience. So all the switches I did has already been 6, 7 years. And every 4 years, there's a new wave coming in. So I wanted to kind of
Yeah,
understand how the trend is right now as opposed to how it was for me. Maybe I take 2, 3 minutes in explaining how my journey was and how it was back then. As you rightly summed it up, I joined a big service-based companies, one of the three top giants, that one of the TCS, CTAs, Infosys companies for the entry-level pay. Back then,
mhm,
it was not that I went in search of a DevOps role. I was put into basically they take you these college freshers and then they train you in something. Luckily, I was trained into build and release back then. It was called build and release back then, which is now your modern
yeah.
DevOps, DevSecOps. So, so we were trained in build and release, and we were trained in the tools. One Git tool, version control tool, not Git also. Back then, I think we were Subversion and ClearCase. We were trained in
Okay.
Subversion, ClearCase. Git was kind of booming then, and then a couple of other tools, a little bit on Jenkins and some shell scripting, some monitoring tool, a little Ansible, and so on. So quickly talking about the jump, one of my aspects was I knew that if I stick to one company, my growth is definitely going to get hampered, at least back then. Because I know my friends who are 10 years, 12 years in the same company, and they hardly get 6%, 7% hike. And there's nothing much they gained in 10, 12 years from where they really started. And now that's not the only motive. One of my seniors back then advised me that once you're 3 years into the company, you kind of become your brain becomes idle. You're doing the redundant, same monotonous stuff, unless and until there is a really interesting stuff that comes in. More often than not, it doesn't come your way. If you're put into a project, unless until the project kind of goes out or it's shut down, you still stick to the same project. So, yeah, I've made switches every 3 years, and this point of having 100, 150% hikes is definitely there. I did my self-learning. Though I was working on one project, one kind of a tool set, I put in the hard work and always kept learning new stuff, similar tools. If I work on, let's say, Jenkins, what are the other similar pipeline tools I could work? If there is version control tool, what are the other version control tools? So that way I put in the effort, and every jump I managed to get at least 100% hike. And in one of the jumps, my biggest jump was 200% hike.
Wow.
And that was really massive. I did not expect that to happen because they need people. And that was somewhere around my mid senior level career when I was 8, 9 years of experience. I had a 200% jump. So back in India, even before moving to Germany itself, I was doing well in terms of money. But this is a different exposure I wanted to gain. And so that's a different topic. So, okay, looks like the trend is still there. It is still a hot selling cake. Good to know. Following up, I wanted to talk this topic. So you are talking 30 LPA, 40 LPA, 50, and you go up to 1 crore. What's the breakdown looking like, Suresh? So I know service-based companies have a fixed component, a variable component. And most of the product companies, I believe, do not have this variable component. They have predominantly fixed component. Apart from this, are there any other components that exist that one should ask for, negotiate? Just enlighten us on that part, no?
Yeah, sure. Maybe if we want to discuss about that, maybe we can say it's kind of a reality check for us because now I actually try to flex like I got a 170% hike. If you ask me, tell me to be frank, tell me what is the reality. I need to say that back in my first job where I was working as a junior cloud engineer in a startup organization in Bangalore, my package was way too low than what is actually being there outside. Kind of, it is just kind of 25,000 per month for my very first job in Bangalore. I think you can
Yeah,
assume what that kind of salary 2 years back. Just 2022 is not very so far, right? It's just 2 years back.
right.
So from there, what I did for my experience, I actually showed myself. I actually projected myself. I'm a potential candidate who can
Right.
actually bring a lot of business value, and I just impressed them that I can do miracles because I just told them along with these projects, I did something these projects in my GitHub. Just have a look into them. Just try
Nice.
to understand what kind of just try to see and understand what kind of a ideology with respect to my experience I can have or I do have. And you can just be seeing at my projects and can understand it.
Right. They need
So
some
this is
sample size
where
to judge you, right? And that's a good way to show your GitHub projects. Very good point. Nice. Keep going.
one is GitHub. And the other thing was everything I learned, starting with the different networking commands that is used for a
Mm,
Linux operating system to a Windows operating system.
mm.
Everything I learned, I always used to put into LinkedIn. That's how. And people think like this 170% is all about this grinding on the technical stuff. No, it is not true.
Mm.
People can't grind on the technical topics without actually working. You can maybe grind on some project, but still, if you even prepare 100%, still you will be having some questions which you can't answer.
Correct.
And the interviewer maybe can ask that. So technically, grinding on the concepts is not 100% correct. You need to show up, you need to project yourself, and then that is how you gonna put a particular number into their mind and just say that this candidate deserves it.
Perfect.
Or else people not gonna just give you that kind of a hike just because you're technically good. Your communication, your soft skills, the way you answer things, the way you deal with clients.
Yeah.
What is your previous experience? And mostly, if you see nowadays, everything is actually situational questions. And there is a situation that people will put you in. They will say, there is a break in the production. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
We have 100 answers for that.
Yeah.
But how gonna figure out that?
Very nice.
We throw questions in against. Just tell me if you are saying break in production, it just don't break in a minute. You have done something which is resulted in this action. So just tell me what it is. So these kind of questions you also should be asking because
Very good
they will
point.
expect you. They will expect you. I just told him a very broad aspect, and he's just giving answer whatever he knows or whatever he have read. So he is not trying to narrow it down. This concept of coming from a broader summary to narrowing it down to the one point. This is what the troubleshooting skills actually been very shortly measured.
Very nice. Very nice.
These all points come into picture when if I need to say my interview which happened where I got this 170% hike, say people actually planned the interview for 1 hour.
Okay.
This is 1 hour is not an easy thing. For 1 hour, keep answering to a bunch of people, and they're also not from India itself. They're from Germany as well because I was working for a German organization.
Nice.
And that interview extended to more 45 minutes. 1 hour, 45 minutes with a 5 minutes break.
Wow.
So when the people are interested, they don't gonna take a chance. They're gonna continue it, gonna see, can we put this guy into pressure and bring it out? And only once they are done, they're good to give it.
Very nice. Very
Because
nice.
unless you prove it, nobody is gonna ready to pay you that much.
Correct. Just one point to add on when to the audience basically. So when Suresh says you need to project, it's not faking. Don't mistake that to faking because that's what people think when you say project. Okay, they'll expect this. Then let's say that I know this. No, it's not that. you have to be prepared with all of it. And even if it's not asked, you put them that, hey, I also know this. I have also done this. Just in case you have missed out, this is also something that I can add value to your organization if I'm recruited, is what Suresh means. Correct me if I'm wrong, Suresh. That's what you mean by
Yeah, yeah,
projecting what you did. Right. So, good points, very good points. Actually, this segment is particularly very important for people who are starting and how they
yeah.
want to. So, just continue on the breakup of the
Yeah, yeah.
salaries.
I actually want
That's
to
it.
actually come to that point directly
Right.
because I was just got diverted there.
No
So
problem.
if you ask me about this 1 crore or 2 crores package, right? I
We
can
will
say
start very small because, anyways, most of our audience are people who are joining new or who are pretty early in their DevOps career. So let's say a 25 LPA package. What's the
in the
breakup we need to?
25
Yep.
in the 25 LPA package, I can say you that there is a joining bonus, or the people call it a signing bonus, where it is kind of like you will get it after your joining is done, and then maybe sometimes in some organizations, kind of like you will complete your probation and then convert to a full-time employee. So this joining bonus is going to be contributing around 5 to 10%.
And that's a one-time bonus.
Yeah, one time,
Okay.
one time, and then when it comes to the base salary,
Yep.
which you actually get every monthly, it
Yes.
will be around hardly 17 to 18 or 19 in very hard case. If you're
Okay.
saying 25 LP as a whole,
Yes. Yes.
and then the variable will be around, how can I say, it will be around 2.5 to 4 LPA.
Okay.
And the people will say it completely performance based. So
Okay.
indirectly, they are giving a hint, unless and until you prove that you are extremely good, you are only going to get 2.5.
Okay.
So this is the point. And then the people offer you stocks. If you ask me what kind of stocks, if it is a well-performing organization with stocks being costly and they have some good portfolio into the
Mm-hmm.
marketing, the people will assign you around 20 to 25 stocks. Or else, just some startups or mid-level companies, they will offer you 50 to 100 stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not something people can avoid. They need to take it, even if
Ah,
you're
okay.
not ready, not happy
Ah,
with that.
that's a point. Okay. Okay. You cannot say that, hey, I don't want stocks. Just put it in my base salary. I'll get it in my monthly salary. No.
No, they won't.
All right. Uh,
It is
one
kind of
point.
like you have an open offer, take it or leave it.
One point. So when I'm talking about a 25 LPA, I personally will
Mhm.
not add my joining bonus as a part of this. I will keep it exclusive and only talk about what I'm getting. Okay, it could also be stocks, but joining bonus definitely it's one time, so I will even have it outside. Okay, clear. So this is fine. Uh, does every company have this variable component, or the other also product-based companies which has only fixed component?
This variable component pay, right?
Yep,
It's been very volatile across organizations. Like some actually organization include it just in order to reduce the base pay.
got it,
They're gonna say,
got it,
I can't just pay you 20 LPA with your sort of 5 to 6 years experience.
got it.
Maybe I can say around three to at least 3 LPA is gonna be your variable pay, and I will decide it whether you are eligible or someone who deserves that pay after of your 1 years of experience. And mostly the thing they're gonna say after completing 1 year is you completed around 3 months in training itself, and then the project onboarding, and then you introduced to the team, and ever since last 2 3 months you are actually working on things seriously. Do you think is this really where you performed, outperformed, or
Hmm,
just gonna say, maybe I can give you only this percentage? Yeah, this is the
perfect.
hard reality actually there happening with a lot
Perfect.
of people.
Yep.
Yeah,
Got it. So in other words, we can say that your base is what you get for sure. The variable component is extremely volatile, and you're not really sure how much of it you'll get. Probably 50, 60%, or it's completely not in your hands, you can say. All right. Maybe, I mean, we are coming to the end. Suresh, probably we have 6, 7 minutes left. Maybe I can quickly touch upon, since you asked, I'll also touch upon how it is in Germany. But
yes.
if our audience also need, we can have another extended session. Purely, we talk about Germany and how things are here. Uh, so, if so, very broadly, if you are looking for money, purely saving money, making huge money, Europe per se is not the ideal location to earn money. I would say it's not unlike the US. US, yeah, definitely yes, you make huge jobs, but each has its own pros and cons. US, the market is volatile. As you know, you get really paid high, and you never know when you get fired. Your visa is inconsistent. You don't know when people are getting sent back, and so on. So there are a lot of ifs around your job in US. But if you are able to negate all of this and land into a good job with good work-life balance, then US is the best to make money. But not many have negated all of these factors. Even my friends, who many of them are in the US, are getting paid well, but then they have to either deal with high work pressure, or they have to always be on the line with respect to the visa. They don't know when they are going to get fired back, or many, many uncertainties. But coming to Europe and Germany in Germany at this point, one of the best factors is Germany has a good work-life balance. So that's the thing that you can get here. Yes, you get paid a little less, not as great as you get in the US, but not as low as well. You definitely make more money than what you make in India. Uh, Provided if you're married and your spouse is also working, all sorted. You make really good money. What the German market looks, they're definitely falling short of skilled engineers. So, and they're one of the important man force for them is Indians, and there are a lot of Indians I know who are placed in high positions and earning very good salaries. Uh, if on a instead of breaking it into multiple phases, in short, uh, 10 plus years of experience, and if you are able to make anywhere between 90K and 100K, I think you are doing a very good job in Germany. You don't get much. I also know people who are going on to the higher ends of 120, 130, 140, 150, and as low as starting from 60. But if you are somewhere in the mid range of, let's say, 90 to 110 euros per year, K euros per year bracket, then you're doing a good job. And this is for a senior level who's 10 plus years of experience. Uh, but maybe we discuss sometime later in a dedicated session. We go into the depths of the Germany as a separate topic. Otherwise, Suresh, thank you so much, man. It was very good. Always wanted to keep the podcast somewhere between 35, 40 minutes, just so it's crisp and we don't keep talking for 1.5 hours. But if it's
Yeah.
a good hit, then we'll definitely make one more round with you. Firstly, thank you so much. It was fun talking with you. You gave us a lot of insights. It doesn't look like I was talking to a fresher or a newbie. You were matured enough and you have done your research. Final words, a minute or two, and then we can wind it off, Suresh.
Yeah, actually, thank you for giving this opportunity. I really wanted to talk in some podcast and let a lot of freshers actually know the reality because the people give this excuse of uh, why coding itna nahi aata hai. They give this kind of excuse and then jump into operations thinking that DevOps is easy, just learn tools and then you'll get high paying job.
Yep.
The reality is a lot harder.
Yep.
The people who wrote the code, they have their own hard part. I don't actually disagree with that. But you, from the moment they actually push the code, you're gonna take care of that code, running on it, customers, latency to everything.
Yep.
You have a lot more responsibility when it comes to handling with the application than the coders because we can actually simply roll back a change that people have implemented and ensure that the application is working. The people just work on a bug and they will be fixed it. But what kind of a thing it is going to make in the cluster? Like we have a lot of things, lot of streams, lot of tools. People think the only excuse the people have is not coding. I don't want them to think like this.
Perfect.
Instead of getting a hard reality on their career where people lose jobs or tend to work long working hours for a less pay, these kind of things you can avoid just by talking to people. I
Perfect,
want
man.
them to be kind of say a bit more matured and making the decisions. And wanna say a last point. Uh, the two important points I see a lot of people say. Yeah, I was lately talking to a lot of DevOps engineers and senior engineers about the kind of the job wave, the hiring wave, everything.
Mm-hmm.
You are not asking the right questions to the right people. How come you expert? How can you expect a DevOps engineer or someone who is some having experience working in an organization having a knowledge about the trend in hiring? Do you think the people are the right people to answer your question? I'm not actually saying that they are not the correct person to answer, but they are not the very correct person to answer it.
Mm.
You actually need to ask that questions to there are these organizations where HRs will actually hire people for different organizations.
Mm.
Like it's kind of the client, the people will work for their clients
Got it. Yeah.
completely on the client location. You should be asking them. You need to talk to HRs and you want to understand the hiring trends, the pay thing. When you want to know, I'm a person, like I actually came up to you. We actually discussed the technical stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Then you actually, with your experience, whatever it is, you actually gave me a measure. Suresh, I feel like with respect to these things we discussed, your understanding and your technical solving skills, troubleshooting, knowledge, everything is having this percentage out of 100.
Yes.
And maybe you give me an estimate.
Correct.
Maybe you give an estimate. I will try to take that from 2 to 3 other people,
Right.
and then we'll have one understanding.
Right.
And then I'm going to actually give that quote.
Yes.
And more often, I just can't go to some
Mhm.
mid-level company and then gonna ask, I was technically very sound, just pay me 25 LPA.
Mm.
It's again the wrong thing.
Right.
You put your bar, if you want to put your salary bar high, then you're gonna target the big organization which actually can pay you and be ready to crack them.
Yeah, that's the point. And also be prepared to crack them. It's not just hitting at the high-hanging fruit, but it is also about you preparing and then being ready for it. Perfect.
Yeah.
That kind of summed it up, Suresh. You had anything else or all good?
Yeah, I just want to say there is this latest trend of pushing the DevOps engineers to learn coding,
Mm-hmm.
mainly Golang and Python.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this requirement where I have an example from for our audience. I have a person, yeah, just don't keep the names, and uh, it is a booming cloud provider
Mm-hmm.
where they were actually asked, you are the DevOps engineer who actually see the application very closely
Okay.
after the developer,
Yeah.
and the client is going to report something. You try to understand it from a DevOps engineer perspective, and be in call, help the developer troubleshoot the bugs and help them improve the code efficiency.
No. No.
And you know that those guys are actually being paid really well.
Wow.
Actually we discussed some points, right? 4, 8, and then 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is having around 5 years of experience, but
Okay.
he is actually being paid near to 15, near to 15 years of experience, guys. So what was the thing which actually made him differ? Not just into DevOps. He was into bugs. He was into development, not
Mm-hmm.
completely coding. At least understanding a bug, able to pinpoint it to the developer, and
Ah.
being a bridge between the client and the developer, and able to understand the code base. It's not just a Docker image that we need to see. It's a code also. If you are able to do that, you have no limits. You can set your bar to anything. You can say, you say something, I will bring that to the table, and
Right.
this is what I want.
That's
At the
true.
end of the day, to be very frank, it doesn't matter to us. It is a tool stack or something. We only care for pay and the work-life balance.
Right.
Don't get misguided by people with some other things. Our main focus at the end of the day is everything is tool, money, and then work-life balance. That's all.
True. Fair enough. That's a very good point. I would probably add a little more to that to the audience. What Suresh said as this example is one of the very interesting examples. So if you have the development skills and you are a good DevOps engineer, then sky is the limit. You can demand what you want because you possess two huge skill set. But don't be deterred by that. You must know development. DevOps does not involve development and does not expect you to troubleshoot or debug a development code. Yes, you definitely can assist them, but you're not a development expert. You are a DevOps expert. But having said that, if you have the skill set, just go for it. You can demand what you want. That's a good point, Suresh. Thanks for winding it up with two good points with some examples of what you know. Uh, I think we have come to the end of the show. Was fun interacting with you. You shared a lot of insights, a lot of real life cases, your friends, colleagues, your mentors that you spoke with. Thank you so much for that. I think we are not going to stop here. We will definitely have another follow up podcast. Hopefully, a lot of people like this one. So, yeah, thank you so much. Have a nice rest of the day. And hopefully, for all the people who are watching, you had a lot of good takeaways in this podcast. See you all in another episode. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Take care, Suresh. See you. Bye.
Right.